Healthcare is one of the most important areas that an early retiree needs to plan for. And for most people who want to retire before age 65, that means purchasing a health insurance plan through Healthcare.gov using the Affordable Care Act. So if you're watching this video, I'm guessing you may have already heard about health insurance subsidies or planning opportunities that you can take advantage of as an early retiree with health insurance. So in today's video, I'm going to go over some of the rules associated with the Affordable Care Act, because the subsidies that are available hinge on, let's say, kind of two things. First is the amount of income that you have and the amount of people in your household. When it comes to taxes and health insurance, the word income has very specific meanings depending on what we're talking about. So for health insurance, that's what I want to dig into. How is income calculated or figured out for the Affordable Care Act so that you can make well-informed decisions for your early retirement plan? So let's jump into it and see how it works. All right, so here we are on the Affordable Care Act health insurance website, Healthcare.gov. And on here, there's a page that basically breaks down how is income calculated for purposes of this plan. So it's pretty straightforward, but if you haven't looked at this before, this is kind of a new topic for you. I think going through this page, and if you want to click on all the links and follow it through, it's going to give you a very detailed understanding of what's actually included in your, to calculate the subsidy that you might be entitled to. I'm going to jump over a couple of things that I think are most relevant or that I see often with early retirees. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start with your adjusted gross income. So if you've looked at your tax return before, maybe you've seen this. I'll pull up an example tax return here, and we can see what that looks like together. All right, so I've got a little example tax return. This is the Form 1040 for 2023, and for Bart and Lisa, we're going to come down here, and on the first page of the 1040, you start here with income, going down, dun, 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 and your adjusted gross income is this line right here. This is your adjusted gross income. So you can see here, Bart and Lisa, they've got all these different income items added up, and then it flows through, and that's the adjusted gross income. Important to note, I would say maybe the biggest confusion with adjusted gross income is this is the amount before you make any deductions for either your standard or itemized deductions. So things like charitable contributions or tax deductions for state and local income tax or medical expenses. This number is before you arrive at adjusted gross income. Now, when it comes to the Affordable Care Act, you start with your AGI, adjusted gross income, but then there's some modifications. And the acronym for this is MAGI, Modified Adjusted Gross Income. So basically, we're going to take AGI and we're going to modify it. We're going to tweak it. So in this case, this example tax return has a really good example of that. One of the items that you'll have to modify on your AGI is tax exempt interest. So right here, line 2A, tax exempt interest. This is things like if you own you have investments in municipal bonds. This is the most common place where you'll find this. So for purposes of just regular AGI, that 6,000 number does not flow into here. But when you're thinking about your Affordable Care Act subsidy, you'll have to look at your AGI and then add back in that tax-free interest. Other items that you should be aware of: if you've already claimed Social Security benefits, for example, there's a portion of your Social Security benefit that is not subject to tax. So there's the gross amount that you receive, and then there's the taxable amount of Social Security income. For the Affordable Care Act, the entire Social Security benefit is added in. That would be something that would be one of those modifications that you would add back in. So let's go back to the health insurance website and let's look at some of the other items on the list. So we're back at Healthcare.gov, and love this table breakdown of all the things that you should include in your income calculation for your health insurance. Wages are included. If you're looking to retire, that's probably not going to be there. Tips, self-employment income, unemployment compensation, Social Security, and this is what I was talking about just a moment ago, include both taxable and the non-taxable portion of your Social Security income for purposes of calculating your modified adjusted gross income. Retirement income, pension. So this would be things like if you take a distribution from your from an IRA account or from a 401k account, that would be included. Also things like doing a Roth conversion. So maybe this isn't money that you're going to spend, but you're shifting money from your IRA over to a Roth IRA. Yes, that would be an item that you would include as part of this income. And spoiler alert, there are a lot of planning opportunities for tax planning and planning around your health insurance with Roth conversion. So I'm not going to cover that in this video, but probably make another video here shortly to talk about that. Let's see, alimony, this is really important. It depends on whether or not your divorce was finalized before January 2019 or after, and you can see how that's included. Child support, no. Capital gains, yes. This is interesting. This is important. So if you live in a state that does not tax capital gains, then this is probably, maybe you're not thinking about this, but this is something that you would include. Also for federal tax, you could be in a situation where child support, capital gains, investment income, all these different items, probably I would say a pretty common income source for early retirees is rental income. You know, maybe you own some rental properties and you're receiving rental income from that. So there's a lot of planning around rental income and early retirement with planning improvements for your piece of property, making sure you're getting all the deductions that you're entitled to as a real estate owner to make sure that the amount of that rental income that flows over onto your 1040 is the lowest number possible. Okay, another common issue that early retirees find once they've actually retired and applied for their and they've signed up for a health insurance plan, there's a common issue that they'll face usually in that first year of retirement. And what that is they'll get a letter from Healthcare.gov saying, hey, we need you to verify your income by this date, and if you don't verify your income, then you stand the risk of losing your health care subsidy. And I've seen this with people before. It's kind of scary, especially where maybe you're in a situation that you're receiving a pretty significant discount on your health insurance, and the thought of, oh no, I'm going to lose that, or maybe even have to pay back what I've already received, or also the doubt, the fear comes in, shoot, did I do something wrong here? Did I plan this incorrectly? If you get a letter like this, it's fairly common in my experience for people to receive that. And from what I can tell, it happens because Social Security is Healthcare.gov, they are comparing your income from the previous year or previous several years compared with the income number that you have declared for your to calculate your health insurance deduction. So for example, let's say you're working and all these income sources, you have a very high income, you're making $500,000 a year, right? And then in November, December, you decide starting in January you're going to be retired, and so you apply for health insurance to start January 1, and on the application you put down, my income is going to be $50,000 a year or $100,000 a year. Let's just say something quite a bit different from what you've been earning in the past. Well, you'll be able to sign up for your health insurance plan and begin receiving a discount on your health insurance based on your declared income. Well then, sometime a couple months later, you're going to get a letter maybe that says, hey, we want you to verify your income because, kind of for the reason that I just explained, and for you to continue receiving that deduction. Well, if you go into Healthcare.gov, they'll provide some very easy things you can do to verify your income. Usually it would be things like providing a W-2 to verify your income, or providing a tax return to verify your income. Now here's the issue. You probably don't have a W-2 to verify your income because you stopped working. You're not working anymore. You don't have that document, or you have a tax return. Well, if it's from the previous year, it's reflecting an income that you no longer are using, right? You no longer have. So how do you do this? Well, there is an income verification letter template that you can download from Healthcare.gov, and it's very straightforward. Essentially, you're saying, hey, I know that my income previously was higher, but my income going forward is going to be this amount. You sign it, send it back. So I'm going to pull up that template letter, and you can see what that looks like. All right, so I downloaded this directly from Healthcare.gov, annual income letter of explanation. So it essentially explains, what the purpose of this is. And this used to be different, actually. The first time that I saw this, it was a more kind of open form template, and they wanted you to kind of provide more of a detailed explanation. This is very straightforward. You're saying, hey, today's date, applicant, date of birth, application number. My household expects to get blank during, this year. Very easy to fill out. You're just essentially declaring, hey, no, I really meant it when I filled out my health insurance application and I put down, $50,000, I really meant that, okay? And so that's how that works. I have also seen for people who buy a health insurance plan through a health insurance broker or agent, insurance agent, that this is something that they can, fill out on behalf of their, for you and do for you. I've seen it both ways. I've done this for people, for early retirees, and also had people contact their health insurance agents to do it for them, or do it yourself. As you can see, it's very straightforward. Okay, so now what I want to do is go into Healthcare.gov and let's see what the impact of adjusting and planning for your income, let's see what impact this can have on the amount that you end up paying for your health insurance in retirement. So I'm from Utah, but I'm going to put in a zip code for Portland, Oregon. So we're going to put in 97207. Okay, so let's look at an example of a retired couple, or let's just say soon to be some early retirees. So let's say we have a husband and wife, and they are 50 and 45 years old, but they also have 2 teenage children. So planning for their health insurance needs is going to be, if there's anything that we can do to, first of all, make sure you have good coverage, to take care of anything that you need, obviously. But if we can reduce the expense as much as possible, it's going to have a huge impact on your ability to maybe retire sooner, or have more flexibility in your budget and your lifestyle while you retire. So I'm going to fill this out as though I am this person. Now, when you're going in here to fill this out, to get maybe an estimate of kind of to see what you might be paying for health insurance when you're retired, what I would do is, let's say you're not planning to retire for 5 years. So go ahead and put in the ages that you and the members of your household will be within 5 years, because for the marketplace, the amount you pay for health insurance, one of the other variables is your age. So the amount for a 15-year-old versus a 35-year-old versus a 50-year-old, they are going to be different. So I would go ahead and put in the ages that members of your household will be when in the year that you're retired. Okay, so you and other people, continue. Married, yes. Will you be filing any dependents on your federal tax return? Yes. How many? 2. All right. Okay, I'm a 50-year-old male. And down here, select any of these that apply to you. Eligible for health care. So this is going to be, the answer to these are going to be no. Like right now, maybe you're entitled to health care through your job or whatever, but we're trying to see what this will be like once you're actually retired. So none of these, continue. And my spouse, 45 years old, not pregnant, not a tobacco user, continue. And then let's say I have a 10-year-old son. This would be if one of your dependents had their own child, which is not going to be the case here. Continue. And let's say I have a 12-year-old daughter. None of these apply. Continue. Okay, so now confirm the members of your household. We've got me, spouse, and children. All right, now we'll go in and let's put in some estimates for income. So like I said, you're going to have to do projections based on where you think your income's going to be. And as a early retiree, you have often a lot of flexibility as to how much you recognize in income. There will likely be, what I see with early retirees, the parts of their income they have the least control over are through items like dividend or interest income. If they have a portfolio, those are items that are just going to hit the account, and maybe you can have some control over them as far as investing in things that have more deferral, or they don't pay as much income, as much dividends. But anyway, for an early retiree, you have a lot of flexibility here. So let's just do an estimate and say, okay, we're going to declare $100,000 of income while we are retired. Now, important to note, this is very important. I'll have to do another video on this. Let's say you want to, you're looking at this and saying, hey, $100,000 a year, that's not enough cash flow for us to do the things that we want to do when we're retired. So, a lot of people, when they retire early, it's because there's very specific things they want to do, right? And so now with your income, even, if you're planning on $100,000 of income, your cash flow might be actually significantly higher than that. So, you could be actually spending $200,000 a year, but for tax purposes, your income is $100,000. How is that possible, you might ask? Well, through things like if you were taking distributions from savings, right? That's money that's already been taxed, and so you're able to enjoy the cash flow, but the taxes for that cash flow have already been recognized and taken care of in previous years. So now you can spend it at a higher level, but for tax purposes, report something much lower. So, okay, we'll go ahead and continue. And now let's look at this. Okay, awesome. So based on the income of our household, the information provided, they're estimating a premium tax credit of $1,000, $1,003 per month. Okay, cool. So let's see what that actually looks like. So we're looking here. I'm not from Oregon or the Portland area, but we can take a look at some of these plans. So for example, this is a high deductible plan here, and you can see that this plan was, for this family of 4, it would have cost $1,189 a month, but after the tax credit, they would be paying $186 a month. So you can see that there is huge potential to reduce your healthcare expenses by simply understanding how these rules work and being proactive as to how you plan this. Maybe let's look at a couple others. Okay, so we've looked at some high deductible plans. I'm going to scroll forward and let's go to maybe like a more expensive plan. Okay, so this one, the Providence, Oregon Standard Gold Plan, Choice Network. This plan was $2,076 a month, but with our premium tax credit of $1,000, we're paying $1,073. 50% off on your health insurance bill is still pretty remarkable, and this is one of the more expensive plans. So anyway, these Affordable Care Act subsidies can have a huge impact on what you pay or don't pay as a early retiree. I hope this video has been helpful in giving you some practical tools that you can use to make informed decisions around your early retirement. I'm going to include the links to the different websites, the different pages that I used during this video, help you find them easier. But most of the stuff we were looking at today was just going to Healthcare.gov and digging around on that website to look at the income definitions, and then also to run projections for a household based on their projected income once they retire. So, hope this has been helpful, and I'll catch you next time.